This is the Revo S, a robot vacuum and mop combo from Roborock, and this is one of their newer models of robot, and it does have a number of premium features we're going to talk about. The actual vacuum is quite powerful with 7,000 PA of suction, and the mop system works far better than the mop system you may be used to on other robots. So my name is Simon from Simon's Reviews. We did purchase this Revo S ourselves, so the video has not been sponsored by Roborock. Let's get into it. So the system itself is going to appear familiar to you if you have already used previous premium robot vacuum cleaners. So you will have a dock, and this is going to be used for the self-emptying and also to enable auto cleaning mode for your robot so that it can hop off by itself and then come back when it has been filled in order to use that self-emptying. But also here, because this has the mop combination, it can also mop when it needs to and then clean out the mopping system as well using this dock. Now, the reason I mention this straight off the bat is because the actual dock itself is quite a bit larger than other robot vacuum cleaner docks. It's 52 centimeters high, which is the equivalent of 20.5 inches, and it does need quite a bit of floor space around it as well. So yeah, just something to consider before purchasing this. You are going to be taking up quite a bit of space with the dock itself. But this really is a plug it in and forget about it system. Once you've downloaded the app, which takes about 2 or 3 minutes to set up, you can enable the settings that you want on that and then leave the robot to do its work. You can even set it up so that it will not disturb you between various hours. So if you want to have it off during the night time, then you can certainly set that up within the app as well. But in its smart setting, the robot will disembark from the dock and then detect whether it's on a hard floor or carpet, so then switch to vacuum or vacuum and mop, and then as it is moving around, it will actually detect if the floor changes in order to know whether it needs to bring the mop into action or to put it away. And this is the thing about the mop. First of all, it is lifted up to 10 millimeters when it is on a carpet so that it will not be in use, and that's higher than the previous model, which was only 7 millimeters. But not only that, the mop itself actually spins 200 RPM for both of the mop heads, and when you consider that most robot mops just have a fixed cloth underneath them that doesn't even move, this is obviously a huge improvement. Now, we live in a home that is not typical at all. Our building is 400 years old and the floors are completely uneven. We have a kitchen floor that's farmhouse style with rustic slabs that are completely unleveled. And let me tell you, I was shocked at just how well the Revo S was able to handle this floor. Honestly, if it can handle our hard floor, I'm pretty sure it can handle yours too. And because we are by the back door here, we also have a rug down on this hard floor. That wasn't a problem for the Revo S. As I mentioned, it can automatically switch from mopping mode into the vacuum mode without us having to press any buttons. It will do that by itself, so it can clean the entire room all automatically. It's really clever technology. The vacuum itself supports up to 7,000 PA of suction, which is very powerful. However, that is on the Max Plus setting, which isn't the default setting. Now, of course, when you use this setting, the battery life is going to be reduced quite remarkably. However, that said, don't forget, once the battery juice is running out, the robot will automatically return to the dock, self-empty, and then once it's charged up, it will continue on with the clean. So you haven't really got to do anything about that. But again, I wouldn't use the Max Plus setting unless you really feel it's needed in order to get the most out of the features that the Revo S is able to offer. So yes, 7,000 PA is a lot of suction, but for most of the time, you're probably not going to be using that amount of power. And the way the self-cleaning works is really intuitive, very simple to use. There is a clean water tank and a dirty water tank. All you need to do is make sure you put your water and any detergent, as long as it's safe detergent to use here, into the clean water tank. And then you can just turn the robot on and let it do its thing. Then when it returns to the dock to do the self-cleaning, it will flush itself out, making sure the dirty water is put into the dirty tank, keeping it separate from the clean water tank so that it can go ahead and load up again if needed. One thing that did surprise me with the Revo S is how quiet it is. Now, of course, it's making a noise because it is still a vacuum cleaner. However, compared to other robots that I used, even when this was on the max suction setting, it wasn't that noisy at all. I didn't measure the actual decibels, but it was considerably lower than what I've become accustomed to. Now, it's not the fastest robot in the world. It is quite slow moving, and it does spend quite a bit of time in the same spots at times, I guess just trying to make sure that the job is getting done properly. So if you are just after a really quick clean, then this may be a little bit disappointing. However, there are a number of features in the app that can help you out. For example, you can set how many cycles to perform, either 1 or 2. Obviously, selecting 2 cycles will give you a more thorough deep clean, but is going to take longer. You can also set between the standard cleaning mode, which is where the robot will clean around the edges and then go up and down or whatever in order to get the entire room cleaned. Or you can select the fast cleaning mode, which is where the robot will use its intelligent mapping system in order to try and do the clean a little bit more efficiently. Speaking of the mapping, it's what you would expect from a Roborock robot. It will map your rooms, you get some customization, including the ability to add furniture icons over various areas. You can save your maps and your room layouts, and then these will be stored for the robot to use on subsequent cleans. And the software on the app is very intuitive. I didn't have any problems with it, and it's got a nice clean interface, so I'm a big fan of that. So overall, we think it's a great robot vacuum cleaner, but the Revo S isn't perfect. First off, it does occasionally still get stuck, and we have to move various obstacles around so it can make its way back out into the main cleaning area. It is rare, but even on this new model, it does still happen. And the one thing I haven't spoken a lot about, because I'm not all that impressed with this feature, even though it's heavily marketed, is the obstacle avoidance. I think this is one of Roborock's more basic implementations of this technology, because it doesn't have the side lasers, it only has the front detection panel, and it does kind of work, but it doesn't work brilliantly, and the robot is still bumping into things, and as I say, it does still get stuck in places. And it's not a huge thing to worry about. The robot has still been designed to bump into things safely. That's not a problem. But then I still have to wonder what the actual main advantage is as a consumer to this smart obstacle avoidance, or is it just another thing to put down on the marketing leaflet? But in conclusion, I have really liked the Revo S robot vacuum and mop combo from Roborock. That mopping technology in particular is a vast improvement from what I've seen before in other models, and having those dual 200 RPM spinning mops does make a whole world of difference. The convenience factor of the self-emptying and self-cleaning is always going to be a bonus, so there's very little work involved in terms of having to manually empty it after every time it has cleaned is obviously a positive. And there is plenty of customization in the app to ensure that the Revo S is working efficiently for your particular home. So folks, hopefully this review has been helpful to you, and if you're in the market for a more premium robot vacuum cleaner, then yay, the Revo S from Roborock, maybe one that's worth checking out.